Hey everyone, this is Bob Kovacs here at Wirefly with another bracket in our Wirefly Mobile Madness all March long. Now we have a bracket for Verizon, one for Sprint, one for T-Mobile, and this is the mixed bracket. We have a Verizon phone, the Motorola DROID 4 on the left, and a Sprint phone, the HTC EVO 3D on the right. So we have DROID 4 versus EVO 3D. These are two very interesting phones and they have a lot going for them. So let's jump right into Wirefly's Mobile Madness all March long with the mixed bracket. Okay, here we go. What do these two phones have going for them? First of all, both of them are dual-core phones. Both of them have dual-core 1.2 gigahertz processors. Both have 1 gigabyte of processor RAM. So from that standpoint, you could probably figure out that they're about equal from the performance standpoint. Well, what else do they have? Now, this is the DROID 4, and it has a slide-out keyboard. It has a 5-row keyboard with a dedicated row of numbers. So if you need a keyboard phone, this is perhaps perhaps the best keyboard phone available today. And we'll come to more reasons why this is such a good phone and therefore such a good keyboard phone. On the other hand, the EVO 3D has got a 4.3-inch display with resolution of 540 by 960. Now over here, the Motorola DROID 4 is a 4-inch diagonal display with resolution also of 540 by 960. So while the resolution is the same, you have a larger display over here on the EVO 3D. So personally, I tend to like a larger display, but there's nothing wrong with a 4-inch display. That's bigger than many other phones that are out there. Plus, of course, it has the keyboard. Now, let's continue on. Both of these use Android 2.3. However, the version in the DROID 4 is slightly newer. This is Android 2.3.4. Over here we have 2.3.5 in the DROID 4, and the EVO 3D has 2.3.4. Let's talk about their internal storage. The DROID 4 has 16 gigabytes of internal storage. That's the raw storage. About 8 gigabytes is available for you to put your files in. Over here on the EVO 3D, there's 4 gigabytes of internal storage, but there's only 1 gigabyte of storage left really for your files because 3 are used for other things. Therefore, you've got about 8 gig of storage available here in the DROID 4 and 1 gigabyte available here in the EVO 3D. But the DROID 4 has an empty microSD slot, so basically it comes out of the box with 8 gigabytes of available memory. The EVO 3D has a SD card slot, and it comes out of the box with an 8 gigabyte microSD card in it. So therefore, the EVO 3D comes out of the box with 9 gigabytes of available storage, while the Motorola DROID 4 is 8 gigabytes of available storage. Now both of these can be expanded if you use a larger micro SD card. You can use cards up to 32 gigabyte in either phone, but this one does come out of the box with slightly more available storage than the DROID 4 does. So they both are 4G phones. Of course, the EVO 3D is on Sprint. It uses Sprint's WiMAX, and the DROID 4 is on Verizon. It uses Verizon's LTE, but they're both 4G phones. Oddly enough, they both have similar weight. Even though the Motorola DROID 4 has a slide-out keyboard and it's relatively thick, its smaller overall footprint, although it doesn't look much smaller there, does it, enables it to have a weight of 6.3 ounces, while the EVO 3D is 6 ounces. Both of these phones have HDMI outputs. They both have pretty decent cameras, but here we have a major difference. Now, the Motorola DROID 4 has got an 8 megapixel still image camera, and it can also do 1080p HD video. Over here, the EVO 3D has a 5 megapixel 3D camera. Notice it has 2 lenses. It actually has 2 cameras, and you can take genuine 3D photography shots with the HTC EVO 3D. Now, the display, which we haven't really talked about except for its size, is a LCD display, but it can view 3D shots that you take with this phone. In fact, if you go on YouTube and find 3D content on YouTube, and there is some, you can view that 3D content in 3D on the EVO 3D. So the 3D feature of the EVO 3D makes it a much more fun phone to have. Again, this is a 5 megapixel still image camera versus 8 megapixel over here on the Motorola DROID 4. In addition, I mentioned the Motorola DROID 4 can do 1080p HD video. The EVO 3D does 720p HD video. It can't do 1080p. So it still does HD, but at a lower resolution than the DROID 4. Both of these have front cameras, so you can use both of these phones for video chat. They both work very well for video chat, especially with their 4G network speeds. Finally, they both have batteries under the back cover. The HTC EVO 3D has got a 1,730 milliamp hour battery, and the Motorola DROID 4 has got a 1,785 milliamp hour battery. So they're both pretty close. I got to tell you that these two phones overall are relatively even. The question is, what do you like? Do you like the DROID 4's slide-out keyboard and its LTE service with Verizon? Or do you like the fun factor of the EVO 3D and its 3D camera and the good download 4G speeds you get with Sprint's WiMAX network over here on the EVO 3D? Both very interesting phones, a little lighter weight. It might be a little happier to have this in your pocket than the DROID 4. Also, the thickness. You'll notice that the EVO 3D, which is on the right, is not nearly as thick as the Motorola DROID 4. So I think the EVO 3D gets that three-pointer shot in with that. Okay, that was the tip-off and the first round for the Motorola DROID 4 versus the EVO 3D. Now you get to call the game. All you have to do is go to Facebook, go to Wirefly's page on Facebook, and vote for your favorite phone in this bracket. This is the mixed bracket on Wirefly's Mobile Madness all March long. Do you want the DROID 4 to win, or do you want the EVO 3D to win? You pick the winner. Hey everybody, this is Bob Kovacs here at Wirefly. Thanks for watching.